Okay, good morning, good afternoon, guys. This is your travel prophet Mo, and I'm back with another video on foreigners living in Japan, and we'll be sharing our experience. Now, my guest today is from Jamaica. She's from Yad, and she'll be sharing with us the prefecture that she's been in, her experience thus far, and just her journey coming here and what it's been like. So, without further ado, let me welcome Krishna Mama. Well, Krishna Suga. Krishna Suga. Okay, welcome.
Hi,
Welcome. All right, so
hi,
just
Manny.
introduce
Almost you
yourself.
guys fine. Hmm?
Go again.
I said Mama Suga is fine. Krishna Suga, Mama Suga. Either way.
Okay, yeah. So just introduce yourself. Tell us which country you're from and yeah, your name. Why did you choose to move to Japan? The program you came on and the process to come.
Okay, so hi guys. My name is Krishna Suga. I am from Kingston, Jamaica, and I came to Japan because, well, growing up, it was always the dream, and yeah, it's been a dream, and it's been the place that I said that I have to go there and I have to learn about it. And I have to just immerse myself in the culture, especially since growing up, I really love the culture. Yes. So
Okay.
that's why I came.
Okay. Did you study Japanese?
Yes, I studied Japanese at University of the West Indies for around 3 years. I got a minor in it because that's what's offered at the moment. Yes.
Mhm.
So I studied
Okay.
Japanese.
Okay. All right. So, what program did you come on, and what was the process to come to Japan? And did you
I
come on
came
your
on the JET program and I heard about it in my I want to say last or first year of pre-university. Yes, I heard about it and I was like, wait a minute, that sounds good. That sounds like the way to go. So I applied in 2019, but then COVID and everything. I want to say I applied my head in 2016 because that's when I started UE. But then I got married and I had my daughter, and that made the process take longer. But I officially applied in 2019, and then COVID happened, and got my acceptance in 2020, and then the long wait, the drought.
yeah? What was the interview process like? Just give us a brief synopsis. Like, how
Oh,
did you apply and all of that?
how was it? The interview process, first you apply and then you send in your resume and your that letter. You remember that letter you write, your statement of purpose, something like that. Yeah, something. Yeah, what was it again? Something like you write why they should
Yeah, the
choose you,
statement of
why you
purpose.
should
That's
go.
what it's called.
Yes, statement of purpose. Yeah, had a wonderful time writing that, but. I would love to see their face now. But yeah, you write about why you want to go, what it is you have to offer the country, and bring back. They were very interested in that. What it is that you would bring back to Jamaica, and at the time, I was thinking, what do you mean bring back? What who send me I come back? But yes, that's very important. Don't tell them you're not coming back.
And then you mentioned that you came with your. Did you come with your child? Because you mentioned that you got married and then
Yes.
that kind of
Yes,
did the
I
process.
came with my daughter. Now, for her, carrying any dependent at all on the JET program is absolutely fine. Once you have proof that the person is a relative, and also in the bracket of either a spouse or a child. That's as far as it extends. You can't bring cousins or aunties or grandmothers. That's a much different process. But for Jet allows you to carry your spouse and your child. So families come, not any that I've seen, but families come. For the process, for me, my daughter is half Japanese. She has her passport and everything in Japanese. So the process might be a little bit different for someone else. But for me, it was very easy, especially when Claire got her information. It was more of this, oh, she's Japanese. Okay, we care no longer. You just pay for the plane ticket and that's it. So I had to pay for her plane ticket. They paid for it. They sent me her ticket with the price for it. So you don't have the option of buying your own ticket or finding a cheap price, or it's whatever Claire sends to you. Claire being the organization that is affiliated with Jet that you deal with before you come over to Japan.
Okay, so for your child, she's half Japanese. So what happened
Yes,
is they did the paperwork basically and they booked your flight, but you would have to, well, Clear Jet pays for your airfare, but you would have to pay for
yes,
your dependent's airfare, correct?
yes, yes,
Oh,
yes.
okay.
Everything that regards your dependent
Mhm.
financially, you would have to do it. But as far as setting up any systems, they will do that part for you.
Okay, so they basically help with the paperwork. We came in
Yes, they
COVID,
help with
so
it.
the accommodation. What about like the accommodation? So okay, so they book your flights, everything is okay from there. Now, when
Yeah.
you get to Japan, so wait, first, how do you pay them back? Do they tell you how the process will be
Yeah,
for
I
you?
paid them back before I left Jamaica,
Mm.
um, uh, by the bank. Uh, Technical difficulties. Give me a moment. Yes. Well, my love, as I am busy, you will have to deal with it. Turn on the hot part. Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay. Yes. So, repeat. Could you repeat the question for me?
For accommodation. So you pay them back. You said you paid them back before you left Jamaica.
Yes, I paid them back before I left Jamaica. I paid them at NCB. It was pretty straightforward. I did a wire transfer and just sent them the funds. Yeah, and whoever is working, the teller knows the whole process, so that was pretty easy to do.
Okay. All right. So, question: seeing that you came with your child, right? What was
Yes.
the cost like coming to Japan, transitioning from Jamaica to Japan?
Okay, so I would say the most expensive thing was the plane ticket, which was I think it was around $150,000 at the time for her,
Jamaican
and
dollars.
that's when
Okay.
she was 4 years old. So
Okay.
yeah, so it was
Adult fare, basically.
yes, yes, yes. Um, From there on, staying at the hotel in Tokyo, it wasn't a problem because she was four, so she would sleep in the same room as me. She would eat, she would share my meals. They asked if I wanted to give her her own meals, but at the time she was so young, she barely ate that much. So I opted no, just we'll share everything, which is a good thing because we remember
Yeah.
those meals. So
Right.
yes, so otherwise, from the ticket, everything else was fine. I'm sending her luggage, but I only traveled with two suitcases. I condensed. So
Mhm.
all of the expense was just on my part from there on.
Okay.
Yes.
And
Traveling was different. Traveling from Tokyo to the prefecture, I had to pay for her seat in the trains. And her prices as a 4-year-old was significantly lower. I remember All in all, my ticket from the bus to the train to the prefecture cost around 11,000. I want to say 11,000 something, and hers cost about 4,000 something. So it was lower.
Okay. And remember, we're talking in yen now, guys. This is yen.
Yes, 4,000. Yeah, yes, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
All right. So, okay. So you did the interview. We did our orientation and workshops. What was it like when you got to your prefecture? So for your prefecture, which prefect
Yes.
the housing, like getting to your housing, what was the arrangement? Like, is it that you had to do your own
Yes.
housing, or did your board of education for your prefecture assisted you with that? What was that like? The cost associated
Okay.
with it and such condition.
Okay. So for me, I feel for any mother, you're very, very overly interested. You want to know all of the nitty gritty details. So I emailed my BOE a lot. From I got the first email where they welcomed me, I emailed them a lot. What school would she be going to? Is there anything I need to prepare? And luckily, because I had some Japanese knowledge, I was able to, because they would send emails to me in English, but the emails would be one worded or one sentence because they're like, "Hi, welcome." So I could tell whoever it was wasn't that well in English. So I contacted them in Japanese, and you don't need to do this. It just speeds the process up faster. And I don't know, I'm an overthinker. So I was like, where's the school? How far is it from work? What are my working hours? What are the school hours? And they took care of all of that for me. I've heard stories that it's not always that way. So definitely this process starts before you Jamaica or you leave your home country. You want to start the minute you get that email, and don't feel deterred thinking you're asking too many questions. Oftentimes, more questions are better than none because the BOE usually they have a lot doing, and they become, I'll speak for my own BOE, they can become very flustered when the time comes to deal with things from the ALT. So they'd like to know that you are also thinking about everything and can ask them. And sometimes the questions you ask might be what's missing from their daily task of what they should have done to cover things for you. So asking them about schools and everything, they had taken care of all of that for me. So I was very lucky to have a loving BOE.
Okay. And what about for your child going to
Yes,
school here?
yes. Because from the age, if you're coming with a child around the age 1 to 5, they will be placed in a yochin. I know in Jamaica you have kindergarten 1, 2, 3. Also, disabuse yourself with all of that. There is no schooling going on in a yochin. It is basically a daycare, and that is where your child will go. There are no fees that you pay at all. You are only required to bring rice and a plethora of bags.
Mm.
Bags for everything, bags for changing of clothes, diapers, futon, all of that. It depends on your yochin, and that's pretty easy for you. They're very kind and they'll walk you through that. But there is no payment for the yochin, and your BOE will have already set that up if they're a good BOE. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And how about your housing? So,
My housing. So where I live right now, all the other ALTs live with me, in separate apartments. I have, I think they would call this a 2 bedroom, but I call it a 1 bedroom, one LDK apartment. Yeah, so I have my room that I sleep in, and then this my living room, and then a kitchen and bathroom, and I
oh,
pay around 22,500 for it because
mm,
it's subsidized by the Board of Education, and I think the mayor of the town owns this apartment. So yeah,
complex.
and yeah.
Okay. So when you
So
when you when
yeah,
you
again, or if there's any, sorry, sorry, go ahead,
okay,
go
so when you
ahead.
came, so they actually gave you the apartment and everything, so you didn't have to go
Yes,
through that process, and it was clean,
yes,
right? 'Cause I know
yes, it
sometimes
was
they.
clean, scrubbed,
Okay.
scrubbed, clean.
Mm,
Yes, there is
okay.
a huge mall issue in Japan though, so be quite aware of that when you come here. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, so for your housing, guys, you have to be careful, and I don't think we can really escape it. They do have uh a lot of cleaning supplies that you can use for these. In summer, ensure you clean your AC, your windows, the walls, because sometimes you
The
don't readily
walls,
see the moles, but they're there. And then you realize you get ill and you're wondering what is happening. So you have to
yeah,
ensure you clear
yeah.
out the place, open the windows and such. As she said, there's a mole issue, so be
Yes, there is
careful
a
with
mold
that.
issue.
All right, so you got settled in your house. How many schools do you have?
Okay, so I live in deep Inaka, so there are only 13 schools right now. And I teach at all of them, but at different periods in time. So with the situation is there are four ALTs, and we all split these 13 schools among ourselves. And we rotate as to when we will go there. That is the setting right now. Not every Board of Education will have this. You'll have some ALTs that you are at your school and you're there the whole year. But for my situation, I change every semester. Ichigaki, nigaki, sangaki, kawarimasu. So we change. And so currently I teach at three schools, and my working hours are from 8:30 to 4:30.
Okay. 8:30 to 4:30. Okay. And what level? What level do you teach? And what is it like teaching at that level? What's the experience?
Okay, we're going there. I am a municipal jet, so I teach from the level shogakse to chugakse, elementary school to junior high school. I don't see any high schoolers because that's for prefectural jets. And on a normally I would see my Sanyonenses, Goyonenses a lot. My third year, fourth year, fifth year, 6 years, I see them a lot. That's the bulk of my class. And at junior high school, you see everyone equally. Um, for Ichininenses, first and second years, you see them about once a month. I want to say once a month. It depends on the school and where you are. And you just teach them as much vocabulary and try to get as integrated with your teaching teacher, your team teacher, as much as possible. That is where it begins, becoming like one with your team teacher. Of course, you have many because you go to many schools, but I want to say that is the bulk of everything, because a good relationship with your team teacher means that you'll be able to effectively teach the class and be given more responsibilities so that they actually do engage in more English conversations. Because I live in deep Inaka, so many of my teachers are afraid of English, and the only way to get to build that connection is team teaching.
Yeah. And also try to talk to them outside of class. Some will try to avoid talk.
Impossible.
Some will avoid to avoid talking to you because they don't want to make any mistakes.
Yes,
So
yes, yes,
you have to
yes.
try to work around it. All right. So based on the fact that you have three schools, what is the transportation like traveling in your
Uh,
area? Do you have to drive?
transportation,
Are you required to drive or
transportation.
no?
No, I can't drive. If you can drive, Onika, I just want to say this. If you can drive, if you can acquire a driving license before you leave Jamaica, if you already have one, get the international one. Don't ask me any questions about it. Get the international one. Driving here in Japan is you'll go through a culture shock because if you can drive, that's not enough. You need to go to a driving school and acquire the certificate. And I have heard firsthand from a Jamaican who lives beside me who just got her driving license. And um, she has done it 4 times. She has done it on the fourth time she passed. And that is actually rare because she was with others, even other Japanese who failed 13 times, and they say that's the standard. Failing
Listen,
13.
I failed a lot too, Krishna. I had to get mine because of where I am. I need a
Mm-hmm.
vehicle, and I think it's because of COVID why I didn't get it, because I heard from my school extremely late. I was sending emails, wasn't getting any response, so that
Yeah.
kind of delayed like everything. So when I actually got to Japan, I found out that hey, you actually need an international license, and that
Oh,
was a whole other story. But
oh
yes,
my
guys, if
God.
you can get it, get your international license, because one thing is on the form, when you're filling out the forms, even though you put that you can drive, you don't know that you're actually going somewhere. They expect you to
Mm-hmm.
drive, although they don't tell you that hey, where you are, you're going to drive.
Yes,
So you put that on the form, but I'm like, but no one told us that okay, you will be driving before coming here. So putting it on the form doesn't tell me that I'm going to have to drive though. So yeah,
exactly.
I'm sure you get that.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. So
So I
Alicia,
can't drive, so I didn't do that.
mhm. So what's the
Sorry, there's a delayed part. Come again?
the transportation? What is it like? The train, the buses?
Oh yeah, I take all three. So I have two mountain schools right now, and so the principal comes and he picks me up at Family Mart. So Family Mart is about 1 minute away from where I live. So I just walk outside and I go to Family Mart. He picks me up around 7:50 in the morning, and that's because I have to drop Amy to school. So I asked him, please, 7:50, not 7:30. And he carries me all the way to the school, and I go home by bus. So that one, it's a long drive. So it's about 20-30 minute drive back to the BOE. So that's basically what my day is like. Either I walk to school, I take the train, or I get picked up. So it's a plethora of transportations. Yeah.
And how does it work for Amy in the morning? So what time do you like drop her off? What time do you have to pick her up by?
Okay. Yes, I would like to expound on this. When I got here, my Yochen is right outside my door. Can I say amen? Right outside my door. So carrying her to school
Okay.
was so easy. I just walk outside. As a matter of fact, the teachers would be out there and they could see me. And I'd often forget something and they'd be like, oh, Gaza, so then what does it take inside? And I'm like, okay, going back inside because I forgot something. So thank the Lord. And then now that she's graduated from Yochen and she now goes to the Shogakko, the elementary school, that is 5 minutes away. That is right up the road.
5 minutes
Amen.
walk.
Yes, so we walk. She walks to school. As a matter of fact, she can actually walk straight to school on her own, but the Jamaican in me won't let her. So yeah. And she has on the yellow thing on her randosero to say Ichinense. So anyone in the vicinity who's helping the students will see her and carry her over to school. So Amy walks, and that's totally okay. Thank the Lord.
Yeah. Okay. So transportation. So what about if you want to go outside of the community? Like on like weekends? Because for me, the transportation here is like when I had to take the bus, it was terrible. It was like every I think hour and a half or 2 hours, depending on the day. So
Uh, yes, yes, that is true. But I mean, I think, okay, I have some qualms with it because when I came here, the transportation, say outside of work, because the prices outside of work has not changed, but for my personal business, my bus fare going from point A to point B was $230, and that was like two stops. and now it's $340. I remember when I was giving the conductor, I was putting the money in the box and on the bus, because you put the money, you pay when you're getting off the bus, as opposed to Jamaica when you pay getting on. When I was putting the money in the box, I looked at him and I was like, wait, because I'm looking at the number. I'm like, Jugoba. And he's like, yes. And I'm like, did y'all change the price? I've only been here a year. How could you do this? So transportation is a big thing in Japan. Most of your money will be spent on transportation if you cannot drive, which is why I implore you to learn to drive, unlike myself.
Yeah.
Everything needs a license. Riding a bicycle needs a license. Everything. They're very serious about it here.
Yes. So even with the students riding, they have to get a license, they have to have
Yes.
their numbers, and they have to get insurance and all of that. So yeah,
Yes. All of that.
transportation in Japan is really expensive.
Very
Like
expensive.
just to go somewhere, you can be spending at least $20,000 round trip
Double that, because I probably
or more, depending on where you're from. So that's
yes.
something to consider.
Oh, one
All
second.
right.
Yes, Amy?
Mhm.
Yeah, あいちゃん今忙しいなんですよ。ごめんね。ちょっとだけ。
Okay, ready? Yeah. So so one thing, the support system of from your school and like opening your bank account. How was that?
That was very, from my experience, very easy. The BOE, when I got there, they knew I was a mother. I'm an anomaly to them, because I came here with my child on my own, and they're like, why? So they did everything. They took care of that. They made sure, there are things that I didn't even know. They'd be like, here, this is your insurance. Please protect this card. And I'd say, okay, and just put it in the bag. And they did everything for me. So, and I know not every situation is the same, but for the paperwork, it is your BOE's job to do these things. So I want to say, it's a matter of them being efficient or lackadaisical. That's
Mm.
because you can't do it. The paperwork is overwhelming. So whether you get a BOE who's efficient, they'll do it on time, they'll get you through it, or you'll just get people who will stress
That
you out.
is very helpful. How about in terms of the healthcare in your area, like dentists, doctors? How has that been for you? Is it easy for you to find them? Are they close by? Any challenges using those services?
So I
Okay, you're
live
breaking up.
in D.
You're delayed. Hold on. All right, guys, we're going to try to add back Krishna. I think her connection went down. Let's see. Krishna? I don't know.
Oh, can you hear
Okay,
me?
yeah. Yeah, I
Sorry,
hear
it
you now.
froze a while ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that. So I live in Kumano. The closest hospital is in Mihama, and or was it Yeah, Mihama. So it's about 25 minutes away, and my boss would take me there. I would call him, and well, actually, everyone knew everything before I did, and that's one thing that's going to happen with your BOE. Everyone knows what's happening in your life before you are. So I was teaching at school, and I got a call that my daughter was sick. Well, my principal got a call, and then he called my boss, and then they called me, and they're like, "Hey, you gotta go." So they carried me to the school to pick her up to go there. So the support system from the BOE and the school is very sturdy. And then they carried me to the hospital. So I genuinely don't worry about how to get to these places because I could just open up line and be like, "Simasen, I need you,"
Mm,
and they
mm.
come right away. I don't.
That's
I
good.
think it's the same for everyone. Yeah.
That's really good though.
Yeah. So they're really
So,
kind.
so you have access to those things.
Yes, I have access to those things, and I want to say that at work, otherwise from the normal insurance that you have, they they told me that it would be best to get an additional insurance, and it was a lot of paperwork. But downstairs, the welfare, I think it's the welfare, I'm not sure. There's a lot of kanji, but they come upstairs and they helped me to do all of that. So there's always someone who helps me with the paperwork. I have not had to do any paperwork on my own.
Mm, okay, that's very good, especially because you're with a child.
Yes, yes.
Uh,
You also asked about dentists.
yeah.
There's one up the road. I just want to say for mothers or fathers coming with your children, free, free. That's the word. I don't know if I've said it, but your chin was free. Elementary school is free. High school is free. The ambulance is free, and getting checkups are free. So just letting you know. Or maybe the most you'll be paying that they have to do is the most I've had to pay for ambulance is 200 yen.
Ah, wow.
They
So
give you an
you're like,
insurance card on Jet, and they always ask you for that card. So if you have it, when you get it, bring it everywhere, any moment, anytime. Anything can happen. The minute you take that card out and give it to them, along with your residence card, if you're not proficient in Japanese, because it has your address and everything on it. Once you give that to them, more than likely everything else will be free. Yes.
okay. Question. For the, I need to backtrack a bit. How much money did you have to take? Did they suggest that you take for you and Amy?
They suggested that I have at least $200,000 in my bank account, and I did. I brought that 200,000 because I was worried about whatever would happen, and you do not need that amount of money. You
Mhm.
do not
But
let them unless you're going to probably a big city.
depend. Yeah, that's what I was
Um,
about to say.
unless you're going to a big city, I have no knowledge of big cities and parents and going there. But for Inaka, you don't need that much. It's still good to bring it. It gives you that piece of assurance that if in any case you're okay. But as I said, because Yochen is free and elementary school is free, and most BOEs won't expect you to pay your rent until you have
Got your first
a
one.
month. You've done the month, and they're usually very understanding with that part. So mostly you just need food and transportation, which for my BOE they pay me back. So whatever I spent to get to school, they pay it back.
Yeah,
So there's that.
for your visit schools, you're usually reimbursed your transportation.
Yeah,
Uh
yeah.
so we spoke about health. And what about money using uh actual cash? Because I know that Japan is a cash society. How is it in your area, like using cards, or is it that what would you suggest actually?
Okay, I use cash. I've always been a cash person. I can't do all the phone stuff, which you have many. If you're an online person, there are many. The other day I joined PayPay, and it's mind blowing to me that I just got $20,000 off the bat, just so for joining it. So I went shopping with that. But I usually use cash because that's much easier for me.
And how is it
Yes.
in your area with the banking? And do they accept cards?
Say I forgot. I have no cards. I have no Visa
Oh, but you
cards or
say
debit
don't use,
cards.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Krishna.
I'm afraid of cards. worst person to tell. Debt is a big thing here in Japan. Debt. A lot of them are in debt. So I stay away from
Ah,
it. Yes.
oh, gotcha. All right, so just some general questions here. Uh,
Okay.
what would you say would be one of the most impactful moments or lessons that you've learned coming here?
One of the most, and I have to be truthful for this because I feel it's best. One of the most impactful things. Um, for me personally, it was realizing just how much I didn't know about my country and just how much, because coming from Jamaica, I would say, oh, Jamaica hard, Jamaica striveful, and I'm going to make essentially a better life. But since being here, I've realized just I keep comparing the two countries, and to be honest, I find most times Jamaica just looks wonderful. You know, you fall in love. I don't know if it's because absence makes the heart fonder, but I've fallen more in love with Jamaica at so many steps. And I think it's the weirdest thing, ironic even, to come to another country and realize just how much you love your own. So for me, I find most times they'd ask me a question, I'd be like, "Oh, you know the coconuts in Jamaica sweet," and they'd be like, what's a coconut?" And I'm like, "You silly person! What do you mean? What's a coconut?" And just stuff like that, or even telling them about mangoes that I could just climb my backyard and eat a mango,
Mm.
and they looked at me baffled. They're like, "What do you mean? Mangoes are you afford mangoes?" And I'm like, "Yes, free,
Yeah,
the
because
gift
fruits
of the
is very
Lord."
expensive. Yeah, I share the same sentiment that there are a lot of things that I appreciate more now living in a foreign country for over a year that I
Yes,
would have overlooked. Just some
yes,
simple things. And
simple.
mhm. What would you say would be your mindset? What approach or mindset should a foreigner have coming to live in Japan?
Um, I'd say have the mindset that you're walking with treasures, and it might seem simple to you. Even the simplest thing you can say can just blow someone's mind. So just walk knowing that um, everyone is probably very interested to hear what you have to say and to see your perspective. The thing is, the Japanese don't usually say that though, because going off and just overall being independent is not their thing. It's all about the community, and it's all about how the group feels. And basically, the weakest link is equivalent to the strongest link. And whereas that's something to learn from, it also places them in a box, a very significantly deep box. And you want them not to be in that box. You want to help them because you're here to show them a different side, a different kind of English, because you don't necessarily speak the standard American or British English. So you're teaching them that you come with a lot of things, and even the simplest thing you say can take them out of the box. So at any point in time, if you can help them to come out of the box, you are the English speaker. um, you are the cultural representation of your country. So don't back down with that. I'd like to say, don't back down with it. Don't be overbearing, but don't back down, because most of the times they are in a box. And coming from Jamaica, you come from a country where it's a survival of the fittest. And you can come to Japan and get a little docile, but don't forget that, don't forget the power that you come with.
Thank you so much for that insightful lesson and thoughts, especially about being a walking treasure. Remember that, guys. You're here to showcase your culture, and
Yes.
you have to be mindful of their culture as well, their customs. But as I said, don't fit in.
Yeah,
It
don't
doesn't
fit
do
in.
your country any justice. It doesn't do you any justice. And they
No.
want to know about you, especially if you're in the countryside where they hardly see foreigners. Sometimes it's the first time they're seeing uh
Yes.
foreigners. So sometimes they're really curious.
Yes, and don't take it too negatively. We have our own biases too. We come with our own biases. So when you hear it, it's all a matter of approach. I had one student come to me and he was like, "Afro hajimete mitakoto," and I was like, "Oh, would you like to touch it?" I've heard lots of foreigners say like they just put their hands in my hair, and at first I was like, well, that's rude. That's just common decency not to put your hands in someone. But the kids have a lot more decency than the adults. I will tell you that. The kids they care more.
And
It's
how
okay,
is
guys.
Amy managing in school? Like, what has the experience been for her? That's my last question.
Okay, parent. Oh my.
Like,
Um,
as a parent.
when I first came here, everyone had a big worry about whether she would be able to effectively live a normal school life. So I was brought to a lot of hospitals. I was in a lot of meetings, reiterating to them that I just want them to help her build her Japanese because she is half Japanese. So for me, her coming back to Japan, living in Japan for the rest of her life is a possibility. So that was very important to me. On the other front, I would homeschool her on because Jamaica's schooling is top tier.
Yeah.
Don't forget that man is top tier.
Definitely.
They're
Yes.
playing over here. I'm not gonna lie to you. They are playing in the educational front, and no one can even compare to Jamaica in that aspect. So I told them
I
I will
agree.
take care of her. They told me they did a test and they said, yes, because they tested her. They did a test and they said that she is at the stage of a 3-year old. At the time she was 4. She's at the stage of a 3-year old, but in everything else she would be basically a third year or a fourth year in their school. So they wanted to tell me that she was very proficient, just not in speaking, which it took them 3 or 4 meetings to tell me what I already knew before I left my country. So I was like, I know this. I just want you guys to help her with Japanese. At home, she does her English, her maths, her science. So you won't be learning much from the schools for your child. You simply won't. And that's not in any negative way. They just move at a very slower rate. They put more emphasis on playing and building confidence and just overall teaching children how to become a part of society's puppetry. I'm gonna be very honest. It's you want your children to stand out and you want your children to learn how to be different and how to take on society. But the Japanese society does not teach that. They want to put your children in a box. So when you know that, you can tell them no. So I've told them no, and it hasn't broken our relationship. I told them Jamaica is not that kind of society. It's survival of the fittest, and it's not the community. And now that they understand that IME is flourishing, but there is a bullying problem. Japan is very big on bullying. I must say that as well. Not not to be negative.
It is.
The
It is. Even in the senior high schools. But
Yeah,
I want
there's
to hear from like a parent perspective because it's
yeah.
just from the
I've
teacher.
I've called my BOE, showing them pictures of either a boy that has scratched my daughter or has put their hands on her physically. It's never a girl. It is always a boy.
Really?
And yes, so that has been one of the things that has been most annoying to me because I am a teacher. All this different from other ALTs because I am a mother, I enter more spaces. And it's
Yeah.
awkward because when I enter a space, I come with the BOE over my head. So
Mhm.
most of the schools are uncomfortable sometimes dealing with me. They're like, you're a parent, but you're also a teacher, but you also come from the Board of Education.
Listen.
Where do I place you? So because of that, you have to be careful. You want to get angry, but they're always watching you. That sounds ominous, but you're always being watched because it's not just your child, it's everyone else's child that you also teach. So
Yeah.
it's a weird place to be. But yes, she language is no longer a problem. She has proven to them that she's quite proficient and she speaks what you would call kumano ben. So her Japanese is much better than mine, despite me having a degree in it.
That's good. Well, you learned from her. But thank you.
Yes, I learned from her. Yeah, I learned from her. I learned from her. Yes.
Thank you so much for sharing your experience. It is in me, guys, and especially from a mother's perspective, like having a child here, and especially so
Mhm.
young, because as you said, the students, they can, trust me, children overall can be very selfish
Yeah.
and cruel.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that I mean,
Yes.
yes, trust me, even to each other here, like you have students staying at
Speaking to
home because
each
of
other.
something. So they can be really mean to each other. So thank you
Mhm.
so much, Krishna,
Yes.
for
Yes.
sharing your
Yes.
experience as
Yes.
a mother and as a teacher, as an assistant language teacher here on the JET program. I appreciate it. Yes, guys.
Thank
So
you
if
for
you have any
having me.
questions, you can place it in the chat, in the the comment section, and we'll try to respond as best as we possibly can with the knowledge that we have, or if we can get assistance. So thank
Yes.
you so much for watching. And if you found this video interesting, please share it with someone who might want to move here with their family or alone. And
Yes.
yeah, just let us know. So blessings, guys.
Blessing.
Okay, bye bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.